Hey, my name is jmartin. Thanks for watching. This is a 2v2 game, and I'm playing as the Mighty Dutch, because they are the most overpowered faction in the game, obviously. And my partner for this game is a good friend of mine, who I'm super psyched to play with. His name is Joslin, and he's another guy in Huntsman, and also of BSA. And we're playing a couple cats. Their names are, playing as GB, is Simon 1474. And then over here as La France is Moose 2222, and that's the introductions. And I'm actually trying my new Dutch build that I've been using lately. I've been experimenting a lot with Dutch. I'm actually kind of getting bored playing the Dutch, but tree. Hey, ciao, ciao. But I'm kind of getting bored playing the Dutch because I use them so fucking much. Tip for you. I got a little tip for you. GB line is better than Dutch line. That's just a fact. I learned that earlier tonight. I don't think I learned that in this battle, though. Something new to me. But we're marching up, and our opponents have done a pretty smart thing. I think this is a decent tactic. You want to keep your armies together. Too often, I think that the subtleties of a 2v2 game are lost if you keep your armies separate. I kind of agree with them and recommend keeping your armies together. It's something that I'm not very good at, something I'm trying to get better at. But from a tactical perspective, what I want to point out to you is how narrow my opponent's army is. He's just kind of sitting there, and this is going to let me put a force on his flank. And so I don't recommend that. You know, if you see where my blue dots are there, if you let me get on your flank like that, I'm going to do some pretty unfriendly things to you. And you don't want to let that happen to you. And somebody else might do unfriendly things to you as well. So you want to keep if you don't keep your line wide, you at least want to have a plan. And notice that my opponent doesn't have a plan, doesn't have really anything on. Well, I guess he has this 2-foot units that he could move over, but he really doesn't do that. I'm going to try to slow down to play because my land infantry is getting into line. My opponent has a bunch of rifles. And again, rifles are something I'm not the expert. And I don't have a lot of experience using rifles, but I think all of the 60-min 125 range units, unless you have a really good idea of what you want to do with them, are not good value for your money because they're actually kind of expensive. And I believe that my regular light infantry will be able to kill them. So I don't recommend you do that. This is me beginning my assault. I'm my opponent. Over on Glenn's side, his opponent has some light infantry. And Glenn is doing the same thing. I've held the spacebar in. You can see that he is moving his units to create a flanking because his opponent has done the exact same thing that mine has. And he's being very patient and waiting for all of his units to move around, which is exactly what you want to do. Jaws is playing Ottomans, so he has a handful of melee troops. But he's, also got enough line units to really make you work. And the thing that Jaws was working on this game is he wanted to practice using or try using this how does it go? Balic Janissary Musketeers. This is like a line unit that's a little bit cheaper. It has reasonable stats, but it can't form square. It might technically be a militia unit. I'm not really sure, but he brought like 2 of those just to kind of see how they went. And in my opinion, I've played people who use these, and in a straight up firefight, these units are actually pretty good value for your money. But they can't form square against calves, so you have to be really careful with them, etc. So that's what Droslin's doing. That's a bit interesting. Where are the other ones? Those are all regular. His opponent also does something that I don't recommend, and he's moved his cav way the fucking no man's land. And what that lets Joslin do is really put his light infantry out on their own. On my side, I've got a flanking force in position, and my lights are exchanging fire with the middle of his line. And there we go, and I'm going to start putting fire on my guy's flank. So I don't know why he's in square there. I mean, I guess I do have cav in the neighborhood, but it's a little premature. And I really want to do, all I want to do is get my guy into a general engagement. Um, my opponent has this weird formation where he has 3 militia units in the reserve, which I really don't recommend. The primary use for militia units, again, their weaknesses, they can't form square against cavalry, so what you want to do is maybe use those to soak up bullets from more valuable units, is an idea of what you could do. And I've succeeded in getting my opponent, I've cleared out his rifles, and I succeeded in getting them in general melee. Oh, shit. I always fucked it up. Here comes some Dutch heavy cav. Go heavy cav. The Dutch have bitchin' heavy cav. Go heavy cav. Crack. Dutch heavy cav rocks. They rock. Yeah. Right on. There's 1 foot unit down. And we're moving on to the next one. Go heavy cav. Look, I'm still green, man. I'm like over 50% strength. Not for long, I'll concede. But man, what a fucking awesome cav charge. Oh, we rout the unit. Go heavy cav. Go heavy cav. Yeah, Dutch heavy cav is the shit. And I'm gonna get more cool heavy cav work in here in a minute. Joslin on his side, his opponent is at least being a tad aggressive. I think I sent a cav charge into his opponent's flank there. We both do. Man, that poor young guard, dude. That's getting like 3 cav units and a fucking janissary. That's just like cheating. Cav unit still going. We routed the center of the opponent's line now. Cav unit still rocking. Man, Dutch heavy cav is awesome. You haven't lived until you've like shoved 3 or 4 of those down someone's flank. This is an interesting thing I actually wanted to point out. Joslin's opponent has put a bunch of cav over here, and he's actually respecting that. He's got some people to shoot at them. And this happens a lot, and I think a lot of times it's sort of an intermediate, skill level tactic to put a bunch of cav in a random area. And because maybe a lot of newbies don't know how to deal with it, this is certainly one way. You have to respect them, and these units are kind of a standoff. And Joslin's winning the standoff because he's devoting only 3 units to their 4. But more importantly, the flaw, or what a good player will exploit if you do this sort of thing, is because the guy doesn't have any cav covering the bulk of his army, Glenn's able to put his units out sort of on an island or by themselves, and he's able to get his own cav in there, and this guy doesn't have any way to back them up, really. It's kind of a flaw of the put the cav way the fuck out there. And I missed it. What I wanted to point out is the Dutch. Where are they? My Dutch heavy cav go toe to toe with a bunch of Brit cav, and the Brit cav have a bunch of chevrons on them, and Dutch cav is gonna win, baby. Dutch cav is gonna win. I also have infantry support for the cav engagement, which I definitely recommend. And we've routed the left side of my guy's line, so I'm starting to wrap around to the rest of them. Is what's happening. And there we go. We've routed all the Brit cav. So I'm going to be able to turn this line unit on an X like this. And now I've broken a bunch of cav into my opponent's rear. And right now I have cav units just chasing down random rifles, etc. My opponent did something tricky. He has put a a foot guard in square and his general right inside of it to protect it, I presume. And what kind of confused me is, when you zoom up, I can't see the different flags, so I thought that the foot guard unit had the general in it. And in a second, this general is going to charge me. And I don't see that coming, because I didn't know there was an actual general staff unit in there. It doesn't wind up mattering, but interesting tactic from my opponent, and I did not see that coming. Frankly, I don't recommend that tactic. But he does get a little bit of a surprise off there. The downside is when your unit is in square, it can't shoot terribly effectively, and my units are going to put a lot of fire on it. And about this time, I'm finishing wrapping. There they go. There goes the charge of the courageous general that I did not see coming. So, man, General plows right through the center of my line unit. I think this unit might rout, actually. Embarrassing. But it happens. Over on Joslin's side, he's dealt with the cav threat over there, which allows him to put more firepower on his opponent. And he again has an encirclement going. So he's going to wrap his opponent up pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and click fast forward because it's just a matter of putting a bunch of firepower on the square unit and square, and these two units aren't going to fare terribly well. They're outnumbered about 3 or 4 to 1. And that is how this battle went. Oh, and Joslin's won. Dog's going crazy. What do you want? What do you want? Okay, there you go. Go get it. Go get it. And yeah, so that was the battle. 2v2 game. And Joslin gets a heck of an encirclement going. Let's look at some set infantry shooting. I love the little I gotta get the mod. Danu's got a mod or something that puts like flowers in the grass. I gotta get that. I gotta get that. And there we go. There's the end of the battle. Everybody's been routed. Nice hats. Love the hats. And there we go. So, hey, thanks guys for playing with us. And Joslin, thanks for playing with me. And if you're looking for more information, you can check it out. Upload a replay to twreplays.com.